Hello, you are listening to the Wild Fern Weddings podcast. My name is Christian and I'm your host. The goal of this podcast is to interview other wedding couples and hear a little bit about their wedding decisions, whether that's things that they were super glad they did on their wedding day, things that they would do differently if they could go back, and what their biggest tips for current wedding couples planning their weddings are. So I try to keep these episodes pretty short. That way you can listen to them on your commute to work, grocery store, or any of those other short drives that you're fitting into this busy wedding planning season. So today I am with Hannah Webb of Fight and Photography, talking with her as a bride and not a vendor. And so, Hannah, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your profession, and then also when you got married, and then we're going to kind of talk a little bit about that whole process.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm Hannah Webb. I'm from Fight and Photography. I've been doing photography for 12 years. I photographed my first wedding when I was 15 years old. So, I was a little baby, and I've grown up in the industry a lot. So, I've been doing photography full time as a career since I graduated from college. I think the last 5 years I've been full time photo. Um, Started in Knoxville, moved out here to Nashville. That's where I've been the last 8 years. And I recently was a bride myself last March 13th. So I guess we're gonna talk about what it's like to be a wedding vendor, but then plan your own wedding.
Yeah, no, I'm really curious to hear your standpoint as both someone who I don't know, I feel like we work in a lot of weddings, but I feel like that probably still doesn't prepare you as much as you think it would for wedding planning. At least that's what I'm envisioning. So I'm interested to hear kind of your experience with that and like how much your wedding experience helped you with that, but also maybe what you still even learned. As a wedding vendor, I feel like we know more than the average couple who are planning their wedding, but maybe you even learn some new things regardless. So, um, yeah, tell me a little bit about what you were super glad that you did on your wedding day. I don't know how long your wedding day was, but what was probably like one or two things that happened on that entire day that you were super happy you did?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say being at weddings every weekend definitely prepared me for my weddings. I knew what I wanted exactly, or more importantly, how I wanted the day to feel for myself. Because wedding days do go by. They I feels like you plan them forever, and then you get married on your wedding day, and it's 5 minutes long. So I guess one thing I did on my wedding day that I really liked was we didn't really do a wedding party. I just had my sister with me in my getting ready room, and she did stand up with me. So I guess technically she was a bridesmaid, and Joseph had his two brothers. But what I loved about our wedding was we tried to keep it as small and as intentional as we could. So on our wedding morning, it was just me and my sister and my mom in the hotel room most of the morning. So it was very like relaxed because I feel like sometimes with weddings, the build up to the ceremony can be really stressful. Everyone's getting their hair and makeup done. People are asking you questions, and I literally had like the chillest morning of my life on my wedding, like chiller than a regular day on my wedding. So yeah, I'm really glad that we really didn't do a wedding party. And I still feel like I got time with my girls. Like they came in and prayed with me before the ceremony, and I still had some of my friends sit with us at dinner, so it wasn't just like me and Joseph up there. So yeah, that's one thing I'm glad we did was no wedding party. The other thing that I'm glad we did was just a smaller guest count, so we could have intentional conversations with everyone and be fully present. And it was important to me to not feel like I was talking the whole reception and saying hi to 300 people that were there. I really wanted to talk with people and also be on the dance floor and also eat food. So we love doing a smaller wedding. It did mean probably inviting some people that, or not inviting people that maybe thought they would have, like my parents' friends, but we chose to do the wedding our way. So we just basically invited people that would have been bridesmaids or groomsmen, their significant others, and then our immediate family and some aunts and uncles. Um, but yeah, I'm really happy with a lot of the decisions we made on our wedding day. I would do it every weekend.
Yeah, I love that because some of my favorite moments are like during the cocktail hour, like post ceremony when couples are going and like mingling with their friends and family and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I think that gets to be pretty hard when you have like 300
Mm-hmm.
people. Um, so was that kind of much easier for you guys to kind of do versus like feeling, I guess I want to say overwhelmed, but like for anyone who knows you're like you're a social butterfly and like you're the most bubbly, outgoing person. So I can't imagine you being overwhelmed by being around a bunch of people. But did that kind of make it easier to not feel so, I guess, rushed by a timeline?
Yes, yeah, that was one thing I loved is
Yep.
like I mean, even with me being as intentional as we could, our wedding day still flew by, but I am happy that we did smaller guest count. And for the cocktail hour, it was indoor outdoor, so we were just sitting outside by the fire under the string lights during our cocktail hour, and some guests were mingling and we were talking out there. So yeah, I loved it. And this is a plug. We got married at the Kimpton Erickson Hotel. It's $500 to rent out 2 floors of a hotel downtown with a rooftop and a private bar and a private art gallery with a ballroom rain backup plan. So that's where we got married. It was great because I just wanted outdoorsy, chill vibes, but for $500.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's like that won't get you a tent at some places.
It includes all the rentals,
Oh,
the linens, a site staff manager, like so kind of like a wedding planner. We still hired a planner, which is another thing I'm
mhm.
glad we did, even being in the wedding industry. It's if you don't hire a planner, then everyone's going to you on your wedding day asking you all these decisions. And after my wedding, I learned out there was a ton of logistics Alex Westerhouse of Westerhouse Weddings had to deal with on my wedding day. But I never knew. I was just so happy and present. So, like, a wedding planner is a very great investment for any bride out there listening.
100%. I tell a story. You say that you didn't know that like some things were happening. I had two weddings. One, like both weddings, the florals got messed up. One, the bride was completely just stressing out during makeup, like wrong flowers came and stuff. The like other wedding, bride never even knew because like it was taken care of. Like someone drove all the way to the florist in like another city and picked up the flowers. Um, yeah, I always tell that story for couples who like are on the fence about hiring a planner, but also like you don't want your mom or your sister or someone like playing the role of planner on the wedding day because like you want to spend that time with them. But yeah, I mean all that to say is like it sounds like you did exactly what we probably recommend most couples do.
Yeah.
Um, I'm really blown away that you got that venue for $500. Like,
It's still five hundred
yeah, maybe,
dollars. It's a great deal. So we were able to we splurged on food and drink. We did like top shelf bar, and I'm a foodie, so like that was important to me. We did great food for everyone because we had a smaller guest count. Um, so I
yeah,
mean, we got a good deal on our wedding just because I chose a strategically. To me, venue wasn't as important. Like I just wanted somewhere that was pretty near downtown and had the outdoor option. So for me, it was like, you can get a venue like that for 10,000, or you can get one for 500.
yeah. Well, no, it was beautiful because if I'm remembering correctly, Hannah Foldy, did she second shoot or
Maybe.
who did the photo for your wedding? Because I
Oh,
remember seeing behind the scenes of
yes.
it.
So Allie Chambers and Jamie Pratt photographed my wedding.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it was yeah, I think it was Allie Chambers. I saw on her story that it was like because I think your setup was on the rooftop, right?
Yeah, we did. We were
Yeah.
going to do everything outside, but then there was a chance of storms coming through, so we actually ended up having to move the reception inside. Which, going back, I would change that. I would probably stuck to my guns and done the because I wanted to dance under the string lights on a rooftop downtown, and we were just nervous
Yeah.
about the rain, so we ended up going to the ballroom, which was great. We still danced and drank and had a great time, but yeah, it does have a rooftop view and it accommodates like 125 people for the ceremony and the reception.
Yeah. Oh, and so that's the next question is, going back, what would you have done differently, whether that's like adding things or taking away things, maybe like allocating your budget differently. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the two main things I would like go back and change would be our reception. I would change two things. I would definitely have just like it was like a 30% chance of rain, and it ended up sprinkling for like 5 minutes. But the ballroom vibe was not the vibe I wanted for our reception. But I stuck to it out of fear, even though I feel like in my gut I wanted to do the rooftop. So I feel like going back, I would just have stuck to what I thought. And if it rains, people will get wet and live. And I already had my photos done. So, like, I didn't care about my hair and makeup. So, I wish I would have done that. And then I wish I would have planned an after party or like a meetup spot because what happened was everyone scattered downtown after because we had our reception ended kind of early at 10. And so then everyone ended up all over the city. There's no coordination. So, I wish I would have just like been like, hey, we're all going to Acme, get an Uber, walk, go down there. I wish I would have planned the after party better.
Hmm.
I also didn't know if I'd have energy to go out, but turns out you have so much adrenaline on your wedding day, you're up till 2 p.m. So, or 2 a.m. Um,
I was gonna say 10 p.m. That's
it
your bedtime, I
is.
think you
I am a
said, right?
grandma. I am Granny Hanny, but on my wedding night, I stayed up late. Um, and then the other thing I think I would do is just budget wise, we did do like top shelf drinks, but I did pay per drink because some of my friends don't drink. I had some pregnant friends there, and I was just like, I feel like I don't want to pay because the price per head basically was like six. It would even out to be 6 drinks a person. And I was like, I feel like spread out, we are not going to be using that. We definitely averaged 10 drinks a person with people not drinking. So going back, I would have just like paid the like price per head for drinks rather than paying for individual drinks. We probably, I think we spent an extra 4 grand on drinks because we paid per drink. So yeah,
Okay, so paying per head would have been
cheaper.
cheaper, but not. So this is a question kind of like well, I guess it could help brides who maybe don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but like, because I'm sitting here thinking that if you are paying per head and it's you said 6 drinks per
Mm-hmm.
head, right? I guess if people weren't drinking, it would have made up the difference, but I assume they only bring enough alcohol for 6 drinks per person. So if they ended up over drinking,
They bring in,
how does
oh,
that work?
so I am not exactly sure, but with the Kimpton, it's like they have unlimited drinks, but so like I think I'm making this up. It's like $80 a person to pay for open bar, basically, or you could just pay per
Okay,
drink. And so basically in my head, I was like, well, they need to be drinking 6 drinks to make up for the cost. And in my head, I was like, well,
gotcha.
some people will drink 8, but some people are drinking none. I think it's gonna be 4 to 5 a person, and it was 10 a person. So like we ended up really paying, like $120 a person for an open bar versus it would have been 80 if we would have just done the all inclusive. So I guess it's just knowing your
Okay.
crowd and also how long your reception is. Like we had a not longer, but people started drinking before the ceremony because they got up early to the bar, which is fine. I'm glad they had wine during our ceremony. But the
Yeah.
drinking started, at 4, and then our reception ended at 10, so it was 6 hours of drinking. So if you have a wedding planner, they will educate you on which package will be best. So yeah, I would just get a wedding planner and talk with them about your crowd and also the length time of the reception for your drink package. Yeah.
Okay. And so as far as like, you had the wedding, you kind of like waking up the next morning, like looking back on the weekend. What was your favorite part on the wedding day? Like out of all of it?
All of it. No, I'm kidding. I mean,
All
that's
of it.
true.
I mean,
All of
I don't
it.
know if you had a,
Uh,
I don't know if you had a rehearsal dinner, like what, but I get the entire wedding weekend. Like, what would have been your favorite moment?
it's hard to choose like a favorite moment, honestly, but I feel like I had a few. Like, what do they call young people these days? Core memories. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a TikTok
Yeah,
thing. A core memory.
yeah. But I don't know why you're saying young people as if you're not a young person
I'm a
yourself.
millennial, but I'm not Gen Z.
I guess I don't. I only know core memory because I think that's like from the Disney movie or something,
Oh, I'm
right?
not sure. I just saw it on TikTok. I don't know. Young
I think
people.
it's from like a Disney. I think it's from that Disney movie with the emotions or
Oh
something.
yes. I know what you're talking about. That movie's cute. Well, I think core
Yeah.
memories. The morning of the wedding, actually, the first thing I did when Joseph and I woke up was we actually went and we walked and got coffee together, and we had like an hour of talking and prayer and just like being present with each other on our wedding day, which was honestly my favorite part because I feel like we were able to just like really connect with each other and soak in the significance of the day, of the covenant we were making with each other. Um, so yeah, I'm just really happy I did that. And like I feel like I don't hear about a lot of people doing that, but I'm all about doing your wedding day however you want to. And for us, alone time was important, so we did do that. We did do a first looks so we could extend our time together. So I'm just really happy that we were like present with each other on our wedding day because it's easy to just see each other, talk to 300 people, leave, and you're like, whoa, what happened? But we were able to like experience the day with each other. Yeah.
I love that you guys got together before the wedding. Like, I feel like a lot of couples don't do that, right? Because
You don't
it's,
want to see each other, but I didn't have my hair and
yeah,
makeup
some of
done.
that.
I think we did like
Yeah.
7:30 or 8 a.m. coffee, and then Joseph went to do hot yoga with his brothers after. Like it's so easy being a guy on the wedding day. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I loved getting coffee with him, and honestly, I did a first look with my dad, and I didn't think it was gonna be like I love my dad's like awesome. He's like one of my favorite people on planet Earth, And I did a first look with him, and I wasn't really expecting anything because we're not a cry family. But yeah, I did a first look with my dad, and he just lost it, so then I lost it, and it was just like a very emotional moment on our wedding day. So I was really happy that I did that with him. That is a core memory from our wedding day. Yeah, my dad's not. I've seen my dad cry maybe 3 times, and one of them was on the wedding day. So I just love the photos I got from that in that moment.
Yeah. Now remind me, are you an only child or do you have sisters or anything?
No, I was the first sibling married. My brother actually got married right after, but I have a younger sister and an older brother. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, your younger sister now knows what to
Yeah.
like expect
Bring
on her
tissues.
wedding day. Yeah, your dad probably wasn't crying during your brother's wedding, I assume, but
No, he
or you said
wasn't.
he's not
He
married yet,
wasn't.
right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we got one more question,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, and this one can come from just the vendor side of you or just the bride planning your wedding side,
Mhm.
but what would your biggest tip be for a newly engaged bride who's planning her wedding or maybe she probably has a planner taking care of it, but what would be your biggest tip for a bride in that season of her
Yeah.
life?
Can I give 3, but I'll be concise?
Sure.
I would say, most importantly, do your wedding your way. You know, if you're not someone who likes to dance, maybe just do a lounge style reception. Or if you're someone who wants to have 300 people and tear up the dance floor, do that. Like, do your wedding the way you want, but don't feel pressured by other people or because you've seen other people do it that way. Like, express and celebrate your love how you want to. Would be my biggest tip. Second would be just hire vendors that you trust. Because I hired a planner, a DJ, a florist, photographers. I trusted them all. So on my wedding day, I was able to be present and not feel like I had to be like telling the photographers to do this or making sure the flowers were okay. Just like hire people that you trust. I had a third point, but I lost it. So those are my 2. Do your wedding your way and hire people that you trust.
Awesome. I have to like edit out the audio to be like, can I give 2
Yes, 2
tips?
tips.
Awesome. Well, do you have anything else you want to add before we end the show?
I hope everyone has a great day. That's all.
Awesome. And if you don't have a photographer, fighting photography.
Thanks for the plug. And if you don't have a videographer, Wildfern. Thanks, Christian.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, thank you for taking the time and hope to see you again and work together soon.
Yes, sounds great. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.